Have you ever noticed, sometimes it's not your goals that are holding you back, it is the people around you. We often say, I need more motivation, I need more discipline. But maybe, just maybe, what you really need is subtraction. Stay with me till the end, especially the last lesson, because what I am about to share may completely change the way you look at relationships and success. Today, I want to speak to your heart. Not about hate, not about revenge, but about awareness. Because many of you watching this are exhausted, not because life is hard, but because you are carrying emotional weight that does not belong to you. You feel confused. You feel guilty for choosing yourself. You feel afraid of disappointing others. And somewhere deep inside, you know, some relationships are draining you. Let's explore this carefully, not with anger, but with clarity. Because growth is not just about adding the right habits, it is also about removing the wrong influences. Let's begin. There is a type of person who does shout at you. They don't insult you directly. They don't openly oppose you. In fact, on the surface they may even appear practical, realistic, or just honest. But every time you take a step forward, they quietly take a step back and pull you with them. You share your excitement about a new opportunity. They respond with doubt. You talk about a new habit you are building. They remind you of the last time you failed. You open your heart about a dream. They hand you a list of risks. At first you think, maybe they are right. Then slowly, something begins to change inside you. You hesitate more. You question yourself more. You share less. And one day, you stop trying. The constant critic does destroy your life in one dramatic moment. They do it slowly, gently, almost invisibly, by weakening your belief in yourself. I remember meeting a young man who wanted to pursue music. Every time he practiced, his uncle would say, music won't pay your bills. When he performed at a small event, the comment was, let's see if this becomes anything serious. When he posted his first video online, the response was, so many people try this. Hardly anyone succeeds. Nothing was openly cruel, but nothing was encouraging either. And after years of hearing this, the young man did quit because he lacked talent. He quit because he absorbed doubt. Words are powerful, but repetition of words is even more powerful. When someone repeatedly highlights your weaknesses without nurturing your strengths, you start believing that you are only your weaknesses. Now here is something important. Constructive criticism is different. A teacher who corrects you wants to see you improve. A mentor who challenges you does so because they believe in your potential. Their tone carries hope. The constant critic carries fear. They often project their own insecurities onto you. They tried once and failed, so they assume you will too. They were told to stay small, so they feel uncomfortable when you try to grow. It's not always intentional harm. Sometimes it's unconscious limitation. But whether intentional or not, the effect on you is the same. Your courage shrinks, and when courage shrinks, dreams suffocate. Let me share a simple image. Imagine a plant growing in a room. Every day, instead of sunlight, you cover it with a small cloth. Not completely, just partially. The plant will survive, but it will never fully flourish. Constant criticism is that cloth. You don't even realize how much light has been blocked. The tragedy is not that someone criticized you. The tragedy is that you started criticizing yourself in the same voice. You began saying, maybe I am not capable. Maybe I should aim lower. Maybe this isn't for someone like me. And that is when the damage becomes internal. My dear friends, growth requires a certain emotional climate. Just like a seed needs the right soil, your potential needs encouragement, patience, and belief. This does mean you surround yourself with people who flatter you or blindly praise you. That is also unhealthy. It means you choose to be around those who challenge you with care, who correct you with compassion, who see your flaws but also remind you of your strength. If someone constantly makes you feel smaller after every interaction, you must ask yourself, is this environment helping me expand, or is it conditioning me to shrink? Choosing distance from constant negativity is not disrespect. It is self-preservation. Sometimes that distance is physical. Sometimes it is emotional. Sometimes it is simply refusing to internalize every opinion thrown at you. You don't have to argue. You don't have to prove them wrong. Let your growth speak. And here is the most powerful shift. Before you remove the constant critic from your outer circle, remove their voice from your inner dialogue. Because even if they are far away, if their voice lies rent-free in your mind, you are still imprisoned. Replace criticism with curiosity. Replace self-doubt with self-awareness. Replace fear with effort. You are not here to live a reduced version of yourself just to keep others comfortable. You are here to evolve. And evolution requires an atmosphere where belief is stronger than doubt. Sometimes the most loving thing you can do for your future is to protect it from constant negativity. Yes. Now let us gently move into the second one. There are some people in your life who don't criticize you. They don't control you. They may even say they care deeply about you. But after spending time with them, you feel tired. Not physically tired, emotionally tired. You know that feeling, right? You meet them for coffee, and when you return home, you don't feel inspired. You feel heavy. You feel like someone quietly removed your enthusiasm. These are the energy drainers. They don't come with warning labels. They come with long stories. Every conversation revolves around what is wrong. Their job is unfair. Their partner is insensitive. Their friends are selfish. The world is corrupt. The system is broken. Now let me clarify something important. Everyone has struggles. Everyone needs support. Being there for someone during difficult times is part of love and friendship. But there is a difference between someone going through a tough season and someone who has built a permanent home in negativity. An energy drainer does not want solutions. They want sympathy without responsibility. You offer advice, they reject it. You suggest action, they change the topic. You encourage perspective, they return to complaint. And slowly you become their emotional dustbin. I once met a man who said, "People always come to me with their problems." I asked him, "Do they also come to you with their growth?" He paused. He had never thought about that. Some people use you as a comfort zone. You absorb their frustration, and they leave feeling lighter, but you stay carrying their emotional baggage. Imagine carrying a backpack. At first, it has your own responsibilities, your goals, your family, your dreams. Then someone says, "Can you just hold this for a moment?" And they put their worries inside your bag. Another person adds theirs. Another adds theirs. Soon you are exhausted, not because your life is too heavy, but because you are carrying weights that were never yours. Compassion does not mean self-neglect. There is a beautiful difference between empathy and emotional enmeshment. Empathy says, "I understand your pain." Emotional enmeshment says, "Your pain is now my permanent burden." If you constantly surround yourself with people who see life through a dark lens, your vision will slowly adapt to the darkness. Human beings are emotional sponges. We absorb tones, attitudes, and mental patterns without even realizing it. Spend enough time around complainers, and gratitude starts feeling unnatural. Spend enough time around gossipers, and your mind becomes restless. Spend enough time around pessimists, and your courage starts questioning itself. You don't notice the shift immediately. It happens gradually. Your conversations become heavier. Your laughter becomes shorter. Your optimism becomes cautious. Energy is invisible, but its effect is visible in your enthusiasm. Let me share a simple analogy. Your mind is like a phone battery. If one app is running, your own responsibilities, you can manage. But if 10 background apps are running, everyone else has drama, complaints, and negativity, your battery drains quickly. And then you wonder, why am I so tired? I haven't done much today. You have. You've been emotionally multitasking. Now here is something deeper. Sometimes we allow energy drainers in our lives because it makes us feel needed. When someone constantly depends on you emotionally, you feel important. You feel valued. But ask yourself honestly, is this a healthy exchange or is it a dependency cycle? True relationships are reciprocal. There is giving and receiving. there is support and growth. An energy drainer relationship often feels one-sided. You give listening, you give encouragement, you give solutions, but rarely do you receive empowerment. And here, as the uncomfortable truth, if you continue allowing this pattern without boundaries, you are participating in it. You are teaching people that your time, your mental space, and your emotional energy are always available without limit. Boundaries are not walls. They are filters. You can still care. You can still listen. But you can also say, I understand this is difficult, but what steps are you taking to improve it? You can shift conversations from endless complaint to constructive thinking. And if someone resists growth every single time, you must reconsider the depth of access they have to your life. Your energy determines your creativity. Your energy determines your focus. Your energy determines your joy. If you protect your physical health by eating wisely and exercising, why neglect your emotional health by consuming constant negativity? Choosing distance from chronic negativity is not cruelty. It is clarity. And here is the most important part. Before removing energy drainers from your outer circle, examine your own patterns. Are you sometimes the one who complains without acting? Are you sometimes seeking sympathy more than solutions? Self-awareness makes your boundaries authentic. My dear friends, you cannot pour into the world if your inner cup is empty. Choose relationships that recharge you. Choose conversations that inspire you. Choose company that reminds you of possibility. Because your future needs your full battery, not a drained one. The controller disguised as a caregiver. This person says, I just want what is best for you. They say, trust me, I have more experience. They say, I am only protecting you. And in the beginning, it feels comforting. Someone guiding you, someone advising you, someone looking out for you. But slowly, something changes. Your decisions start shrinking. You hesitate before making choices without consulting them. You feel guilty when your opinions differ. You begin doubting your own judgment. And one day you realize you are living a life that feels approved, but not chosen. There is a beautiful difference between guidance and control. Guidance empowers you to think. Control conditions you to obey. A guide walks beside you and says, what do you think? A controller walks ahead of you and says, follow me. Let me tell you a small story. There was once a young bird learning to fly. The mother bird would nudge it gently toward the edge of the nest. The baby bird hesitated. It was afraid. But the mother did not carry it forever. She allowed it to feel the wind. She allowed it to flap its wings. She allowed it to struggle. Now imagine if the mother bird said, flying is dangerous. Stay in the nest. I'll bring you food forever. The bird would survive, but it would never soar. Sometimes what feels like protection is actually limitation. Controllers often operate from fear, not malice. They fear you will fail. They fear you will suffer. They fear losing influence over you. And so, they manage your choices. They suggest careers you're not passionate about because they seem secure. They discourage risks because they feel unsafe. They question your dreams because they don't understand them. Over time, you start outsourcing your confidence. Before making a decision, you ask, will they approve? Instead of asking, is this aligned with my values? And that is when your inner voice becomes quieter than external noise. My dear friends, growth requires struggle. There is a powerful image I once heard about a butterfly emerging from its cocoon. A kind-hearted child saw the butterfly struggling and decided to help by cutting open the cocoon. The butterfly came out easily, but it never flew. Why? Because the struggle inside the cocoon forces fluid into its wings, strengthening them. Without that struggle, the wings remain weak. In the same way, when someone constantly removes your challenges in the name of love, they may unintentionally weaken your wings. Real love prepares you for independence. Control prepares you for dependence. And here is the tricky part. Controllers often make you feel guilty for wanting autonomy. If you choose differently, they say you are ungrateful. If you set boundaries, they say you are distant. If you assert yourself, they say you have changed. Yes, you have changed. You are growing. And growth can feel threatening to someone who is comfortable with you being smaller. Now, I want to be very careful here. This is not about disrespecting parents. It's not about rebelling against mentors. It's not about rejecting advice. Advice is wisdom offered. Control is freedom restricted. You can listen respectfully and still choose independently. You can appreciate guidance and still take responsibility, because ultimately, you will live with the consequences of your decisions, not them. If you succeed, the fulfillment must be yours. If you fail, the learning must be yours. And failure is not the enemy. A controlled life may look stable from the outside, but inside, it breeds quiet resentment. You start wondering, what if I had tried? What if I had chosen differently? What if I had trusted myself? Nothing is heavier than regret. Freedom is not about doing whatever you want. Freedom is about taking ownership of your path. And here is something deeper. Before you create distance from a controlling presence, examine your own behavior. Are you trying to control someone else's life? Are you imposing your fears onto others? Are you confusing advice with authority? Transformation is incomplete if it is only external. My dear friends, your life is a sacred responsibility. You were not born to live as someone else's unfinished dream. You were born with unique strengths, unique desires, unique lessons to learn. Sometimes loving someone means gently stepping out of their shadow. Sometimes respecting yourself means saying, I appreciate your concern, but I must experience this myself. Because strength grows through experience, confidence grows through decision making, wisdom grows through mistakes, and you deserve the chance to grow your own wings. Remove control, not with anger, but with clarity. Choose guidance that empowers. Choose relationships that trust your capability. Choose environments where your voice is heard, not managed. And remember, true care does not cage you. True love does not limit you. True support does not silence you. It strengthens you so you can stand on your own. Now, before you walk away thinking this message is only about removing others, let us turn the mirror inward. Because the most powerful transformation does not begin by changing your contact list. It begins by changing your consciousness. Sometimes, the 3 people you must remove from your life are versions of yourself. If this feels uncomfortable, stay with me. This is where real growth begins. You may have distanced yourself from the constant critic outside. But is there still a critic living inside your mind? Every time you try something new, does a voice whisper, you are not good enough? Every time you make a mistake, does it say, see, I told you? Every time you dream bigger, does it remind you of your past failures? The most dangerous critic is not the one who speaks loudly in public. It is the one who speaks softly in private. You may remove negative people physically, but if their voice has become your inner dialogue, they still control you. Freedom is not distance. Freedom is detachment. Instead of criticizing yourself harshly, practice conscious correction. Say, I made a mistake. What can I learn? Say, I am growing. I am not perfect yet. Say, my past does not define my potential. Growth requires accountability, but not self-abuse. Now let's look at the second one again, the energy drainer. Have you removed the negative influences around you? But are you draining yourself? Do you constantly replay old disappointments? Do you compare yourself endlessly on social media? Do you consume content that fuels insecurity instead of inspiration? Sometimes we don't need an external energy drainer. We become one to ourselves. Your thoughts are conversations happening inside you all day long. If those conversations are filled with complaint, regret, jealousy, or fear, your energy will drop, even if your environment is positive. Protect your mind like you protect your home. You don't allow strangers to walk in freely. Why allow negative thoughts to occupy every room of your consciousness? And now the third one, the controller. Have you removed controlling influences outside, but are you still controlled by fear? Fear of judgment, fear of failure, fear of rejection. Fear can become an invisible dictator. It tells you what to say. It tells you what not to attempt. It tells you how small to stay. And you obey, not because someone forced you, but because you never questioned it. True liberation is not rebellion. It is responsibility. You take responsibility for your choices. You take responsibility for your mindset. You take responsibility for your growth. And here is something very important. Removing people from your life does not mean hating them. It means recognizing alignment. Some people belong in your past. Some people belong in your memories. Some people belong in your prayers. But not everyone belongs in your future. There is a season for every relationship. Some relationships teach you confidence. Some teach you boundaries. Some teach you discernment. And gratitude does not require permanence. You can say, "Thank you for the lesson," and still move forward. My dear friends, life is too short to live in emotional clutter. You declutter your home once in a while. You delete old photos from your phone. You clean your wardrobe. But when was the last time you cleaned your inner circle? Not with drama, not with anger, but with awareness. Ask yourself 3 questions. Does this relationship help me grow? Does it respect my individuality? Does it energize my spirit? If the answer is repeatedly no, you have clarity, and clarity is a gift. The courage to create boundaries is not arrogance. It is maturity. Because at the end of the day, you are responsible for the quality of your life. You are responsible for the atmosphere around your dreams. You are responsible for the conversations you entertain. You are responsible for the standards you accept. And here is the final truth I want to leave you with. Success is not only about ambition. Happiness is not only about achievement. It is about alignment. Alignment between your values and your actions. Alignment between your purpose and your environment. Alignment between who you are and who you are becoming. If you want peace, choose peaceful company. If you want growth, choose growing minds. If you want courage, choose courageous conversation. And most importantly, choose yourself. Not selfishly, but consciously. Because when you protect your energy, your boundaries, and your inner voice, you don't lose people. You find yourself. And when you find yourself, fear naturally takes the last place. True success is living consciously, joyfully, and purposefully, surrounded not by many, but by the right ones. Start today, not with anger, but with awareness. Not with rejection, but with responsibility. And watch how your life begins to breathe again. And now let me leave you with something even deeper. Because this is not just about removing 3 types of people. It is about understanding a powerful spiritual principle. Whatever you tolerate, you invite. If you tolerate constant criticism, you invite insecurity. If you tolerate chronic negativity, you invite exhaustion. If you tolerate control, you invite dependency. Life responds to your standards, not your wishes. Many people say, "I want peace," but they entertain chaos. They say, "I want success," but they allow doubt to sit at their table every day. They say, "I want freedom," but they refuse to set boundaries. There is a gap between desire and discipline. And discipline begins with saying, "This no longer serves my growth." Let me share something very honest. Sometimes we don't remove unhealthy people because we fear loneliness. We think, "At least I have someone." But my dear friends, being alone is not the same as being lonely. Loneliness is the absence of connection. Solitude is the presence of self. If your circle makes you feel unseen, unheard, or undervalued, you are already lonely. Choosing temporary solitude to build a stronger foundation is not weakness. It is wisdom. There is a season in life where you must become comfortable walking alone, so you don't walk in the wrong crowd just to avoid silence. Silence is powerful. In silence, you hear your real thoughts. In silence, you reconnect with your values. In silence, you rebuild your confidence. And when you become secure within yourself, you stop tolerating relationships that shrink you. Here is another truth. Growth will automatically filter people. When you start waking up earlier, some will mock you. When you start reading instead of gossiping, some will distance themselves. When you start setting boundaries, some will say you've changed. You have changed. And not everyone is meant to grow at the same pace. Do not feel guilty for evolving. A tree does not apologize for outgrowing a pot. But remember, do this with grace. You don't need to announce your distance. You don't need to create drama. You don't need to prove anything. Quietly upgrade your environment. Reduce exposure, limit access. Protect your focus. And invest your energy where it multiplies. Seek friendships where growth is mutual. Seek mentors who empower, not dominate. Seek conversations that stretch your thinking. Your future is shaped by 5 things. What you read, what you watch, what you think, what you practice, and who you spend time with. If one of these is misaligned, your progress slows. And here's something I want you to reflect on deeply. The people you surround yourself with influence your self-image. If they see you as incapable, you begin doubting your capability. If they see you as small, you start shrinking. If they treat you as replaceable, you start undervaluing yourself. Choose people who remind you of your strength when you forget it. Choose people who challenge you without belittling you. Choose people who celebrate your growth instead of competing with it. This is not about ego. It is about environment. Even a strong seed cannot grow in poisoned soil. And now let us elevate this to a spiritual level. You are not here accidentally. You have gifts. You have purpose, you have a unique journey, and your responsibility is to protect that journey. Not everyone will understand your path. Not everyone will support your evolution. Not everyone will walk with you till the end. That is okay, because true growth is selective. And here is the final awakening. Before asking, who must I remove? Ask, who must I become? Become so grounded that criticism does shake you. Become so positive that negativity cannot attach to you. Become so confident that control cannot dominate you. When you elevate your character, unhealthy dynamics fall away naturally. And in that space, something beautiful happens. You experience peace. Not because life became easier, but because your circle became healthier. Not because challenges disappeared, but because your support system strengthened. Remember this always. Happiness is not about having many people in your life. It is about having meaningful ones. When you put awareness first, confusion takes the last place. When you put responsibility first, blame takes the last place. And when you put your purpose first, fear naturally fades away. So today, don't make a dramatic decision. Make a conscious one. Observe, reflect, adjust, protect your energy. Honor your growth. Choose your company wisely. Because the quality of your relationships will determine the quality of your thoughts. And the quality of your thoughts will determine the quality of your life. True success is not reaching somewhere impressive. True success is living consciously, peacefully, and purposefully, surrounded by those who help you rise without losing yourself. Start today. Your future is waiting for a healthier you.